Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Everything Actually with me, your host, Ashley Fisher. This is episode 33. I'm noticing that episode 32 came out about 3 weeks ago, so sorry, it's been a minute. A lot has changed. If you can't tell, this isn't my usual room that I'm in. This is my new bedroom. I was in Tampa, Florida. Now I'm in New Jersey, so big life change for me. Working on a lot of things, trying to build something here, you know? That's not what today's episode's about. Not really sure what I want to title it yet. Planning on making this fairly quick, maybe a good 15-20 minutes, something good, something light. Mainly just going to be current events, not an all about me, like what I just said, more of life lessons I'm learning. And I also have some random updates, recommendations, things. Where this is coming from, I have this note, right? It is from Wednesday, September 4th, 2024, aka almost exactly a year ago. So something that I tried doing, I literally still have it. It was from this notepad. And I was trying to do nightly check-ins with myself. So I went over, I had 2 jobs at the time, I had a boyfriend, family, friends, money, physical health, mental health, my podcast, and food. Those were the 10 things that I would reflect on every day and say, how am I doing with this? Is this making me happy? I think the main prompt was to list all of those things and list 1 positive or 3 positive things about that. And if I could not come up with a single positive thing, that meant that had to change. So I'm going to be telling you guys what this says, where I was at about a year ago, and then flash forward to where I'm at now with that category. Because I think this would be my next episode. I'm pretty sure I want to make it about my morning and night routine, things that I try and incorporate in my day-to-day routines for a healthier lifestyle. So, the first one, I was working at Fanatics in retail. I wrote, they're understanding and flexible. I did leave that job because I was very unhappy at it, and then ended up going back just because I needed something before moving back to New Jersey again. So, yeah, at the time I said they're understanding and flexible. I ended up leaving because so I ended up being I cannot stand this anymore. I'm out. Number 2, Resquared. That was my other job. I was a content and community specialist for that, but it was mainly me and one other guy, my boss that I worked under all of the time. I said, getting into flows, showing my personality, freedom. Ended up leaving, not to say there was too much freedom, but there wasn't as much structure as I would have liked. And I was also being promised full-time, and after, it was supposed to start as a full-time position, and then he was like, I will start you as part-time. I said, okay. Then it was 6-7 months later, and I was still in that part-time position, and he was being like, oh no, we'll get you to full-time, and I was like, hey, are we just wasting both of our times here, So I ended up leaving that job. My relationship, I said, loved, affirmed, puts in effort. I did say sex. Oops, sorry. Yeah, obviously we ended up breaking up, but it was September, 3 months after I was writing this. So that's that. Friends, all I wrote was text some. I'm pretty sure I'm always, not to say I'm always in this position with my friendships, but I always think that I would like my friendships to be more prevalent in my life. Always. So money, I said able to pay bills and spend on wants. I was in a really good position with money when I had those 2 jobs. That was kind of another very big pro to that. Physical, I said have access, am healthy, smell nice. I guess I was feeling myself, but yeah. I mean, I'm still blessed that it's I think when I said have access, I think saying, I don't know if that was saying that I go to the gym or that it was my body is physically able to go to the gym. So either way, mental, I said journaling now, meditating more, working on it. Around this time, I kind of was going through some mental stuff. I think it was just kind of the fact that I was switching from graduating college to now having to work full time, which was a little stressful for me, and like bills and whatnot. So had to work on that more. My podcast, I said coming up with ideas using Descript. That was the old platform I was using. Food, I said eating fun stuff. Chick-fil-A's open again. There was a Chick-fil-A that was like a 5-minute walk from my apartment complex, and they were closed for a minute, so I was happy that they opened again. And I said, have a whole loaf of bread. I guess that was just like checking in on my grocery inventory. I'm not too sure. Yeah, so I guess my 2 things about this. Number 1, I think this is a good idea. I think that I should be checking in nightly and be like, hey, what's going well for me? What could be going better? I only did this I wrote 1 good thing. That was my rule. I think this is great. Yeah, to check in with yourself to see what you should be changing, what could be going better. Because obviously if you find yourself 4 days, 5 days in a row that you're like, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, cannot list 1 good thing about it, maybe look for a new job. If you're unhappy in your relationship and you're writing on here like you cannot think of 1 good thing because you're fighting every single day, maybe something in your relationship needs to change. It's always good to check in with yourself. So that was the first point. Also wanted to throw in here, I never saw oh my gosh, I don't have my first earrings in. Let me get those. Alright. I never saw myself moving back home. Like, coming back to New Jersey was never in my cards. I did really like Florida. So far, I'm loving the Jersey weather. Like, it's nice right now just because it is end of September. But, you know, it's a little different having to now. So at home, it's my mom and my dad, who they pretty much work all day. So they're, oh goodness. So they're out of the house. And then my nanny, who's my mom's mom, she lives with us. She's very old. I love her, God bless her. She's losing her mind a little bit, so it's a little, I don't want to say frustrating because obviously it's an unfortunate case, but it's just, if you've ever had to deal with somebody, such negative connotations I'm using here, but I'm just going to spit it out. Somebody who has like memory loss or Alzheimer's or dementia, it's difficult, you know? It's not as easy as it was 10 years ago, you know what I mean? So just little things that I'm trying to figure out. Definitely if I get a 9-to-5 job, I'll be out of the house more. And then I'll be out of the house 9 to 5. And then I'll be able at night to like go and work out, to, I don't know, go to the library might be closed. Anyways, so here's some other like lessons that I'm learning. I said, do nothing out of anger/rage/malice. I don't know if this is like my TikTok feed that definitely had some part in inspiring it, but you know when somebody posts something and you're like, it just was done out of negative energy. Like, I'm trying to think of an example, but you can even, not necessarily saying a social media post, but if somebody says something to you, like talking negatively about somebody else, and you're like, why would you say that? Like, that just makes you look like a bad person. So I'm pretty much just, how to apply this to myself, right? If I'm driving, I've talked about this before, my road rage. If I'm driving and somebody's going so slow and it's because I'm rushing and I need to get there, instead of honking them to be mean, just don't honk. Because you would be doing that out of malice. Malice means, like, if you say malicious intent, that means that you meant to do something bad. So yeah, malice is just kind of hate, negativity, essentially. But yeah, so instead of honking at somebody, I'll be like, okay, that's not necessary. That is not nice. I'm not going to do it. Pretty much whenever I have a thought of, I don't want to say that I'm in my day-to-day, I'm a mean person or anything like that. But if, you know, a negative thought crosses my mind, if I'm with my nanny and she asks me something and I want to raise my voice at her because I just repeated the same exact thing 10 times, instead of raising my voice because that's mean, I'm doing that because I'm stressed, I'm in a negative place. It's not her fault. I'll just take a step back and I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to do that. Because also, I'm assuming this happens, honestly, with everybody, as long as you have emotions and you're not like a psychopath. I feel so bad the second after I do something mean. So if I raise my voice at my nanny, I'm like, I just feel so bad about it. Or if I honk somebody in front of me after like a minute, unless they really deserved it, you know what I mean? But if they're just going a little bit slow, like let's say 10 miles per hour under the speed limit, I don't need to honk them, you know what I mean? Because, yeah, then I just feel really bad after, and I'm like, okay, so I was mean to that person, and now I'm being mean to myself because I'm unhappy that I made that decision. So that's just a little something. Don't do anything out of anger, rage, malice. Just take a second. I think I kind of also initially got this idea, aside from all of that, I'm getting more into, like, reading the Bible and such, which is on what I'll talk about in my next episode, how I'm trying to make routines. I have this app on my iPad, which is what I'm recording on, which is why I'm like, but it's this Bible app, and it's really easy, and what I'm doing, mine was like, I don't want to call it Bible study necessarily, but they give you like a plan, right? So I clicked on one of these plans, and they tell me which parts to read. It's not just me starting at like page 1 of the Bible. So that's really cool. But pretty much in there, it said something about it. I feel like malice is a very religious word. You know what I mean? That it's like, don't fall into temptation, things of that nature. So that's that point. Second one that kind of ties in, patience. As I just said, whenever I'm impatient, it's just me, like, falling into temptation, and then I just feel weak and bad about myself, and I'm just being mean to somebody else. So patience has always been something that I'm like, I just want to be more patient. And there's some times that I am very good, that I'm like, literally a car will be driving 10 miles per hour in like a 35, and I'll just be like, I'm not in a rush, it's okay, I'm just gonna drive and do this, you know? And then when I overcome those situations, which I've also talked about in a previous episode, I always feel so much better about myself, like rewriting the narrative instead of being like, oh, I'm so impatient, keep practicing patience, and then you become a patient person, and then it's habit, and it's natural, and you don't even have to think or stress about it. Another one I said, this is what's kind of been my, like, hardest part of being home. I'm not maybe it does sound like complaining. I'm blessed, thankful for everything I have, for my parents, for them letting me to come back home, for, like, putting me in this room, all of that good stuff. What I'm not used to is never being alone, which is I need a mindset shift for this, because it's kind of not true. So, as I explained, it's my two parents here who are pretty much gone all day, and then my grandma with me, who is home all day, but she's downstairs, so I don't even think she could hear me. She probably doesn't even know I'm home, doesn't know what I'm doing. So, I'm so used to, in my old apartment in Tampa, I had one roommate, shout out Andrea, love you girl, but she was never home. So it was just me 24/7. So if I wanted to go in, walk into the kitchen in my underwear, nobody's gonna see me. If I wanted to blast the speaker at midnight, nobody's gonna tell me otherwise. And I just feel like the walls in my room are so thin. So, like, I'm trying to record this podcast before my dad comes home. Honestly, I did this in the apartment too. If Andrea was home, I would try and record when she wasn't home, but I also just liked recording at night when she was, like, on a work trip or whatever. And it's not like my dad's gonna come home and be like, hey, you're being too loud, stop recording. Like, he would never, you know what I mean? Like, my parents, I don't want to say they don't care in the, like, neglect sense, more of they're like, we'll let you do your own thing. You do your own thing, we do our own thing. When you need us, let me know. If you want to go out to dinner, let me know. Like, things like that. So, yeah, number one, it's just that I'm never actually alone. So this is another part I wrote. I always feel like I'm, like, listening out for things, which I'm trying to hear, like, so I'm in I don't know if you call it 2 stories, there's an upstairs and a downstairs, but there's also an attic, and there's also a basement, so I'm like, is that technically a 4-story? Anyways, my parents will be downstairs, and I'm upstairs, but I'll be, like, listening to hear, like, if they're coming up the stairs, or if they're in their bedroom and the door's shut, I'm like, are they still wandering around, or are they in bed? Once again, not their fault at all, I'm just, like, I don't like them hearing what I'm doing. Like, if I was recording this, I would be so kind of, like, anxious, being like, oh my god, they can hear everything. I'm pretty sure they both listen to my podcast anyway, so it's not the fact that I'm saying something I don't want them to hear. I'm just kind of not as comfortable recording in front of people. You know what I mean? So, another random side note. So my car has Florida plates, only on the back. There's not a plate on the front because Florida doesn't do that. New Jersey does have plates on the front and the back. I was driving today. There was, like, construction in the road, so there was a bunch of cops. And a cop, like, started walking in front of my car and, like, stopping me. And I went like this. And then he asked me, he was like, where's your car registered? I was like, Florida. And then he checked my plates and he was like, oh, okay, you're good. Because I definitely do need to get that fixed at some point. But, whatever. Neither here nor there. I just went, oh, that was silly of me. I had my windows down, blasting some country music. I lowered it when I was approaching the cop, because no duh. Anyways, so yeah, just that. Number one, I'm never actually alone, and I like being very loud, very open, very everywhere, and I feel confined to my room now that I'm home. I do love my bed. I love my bedroom, though. Look, my mom painted it this, like, baby pink. It was actually called, I think, Pink Quartz, or just Quartz. It is gorgeous. Anyways, so that, as far as, like, things go, I know where everything is. If I'm thinking of like this specific bobby pin, I'm like, oh, it's in this purse at this corner of my room in this pocket, and it is going to be there. Like, I'm that type of person that I know where my stuff is at all times, and if I ever lose anything, I freak out because I'm like, I'm not the type to lose stuff. I always know where my stuff is. Where I'm going with this is groceries. So we'll get bagels, right? My dad picks up half a dozen bagels on like Sunday so that I have them for breakfast during the week. So sweet. I know. I love bagels so much. But anyways, he'll do that, but it's like sometimes they'll be out on the counter, right? And then after like a day or two, they're in the bread drawer. And then after another like day or two, they're in the freezer. So every morning when I go down for my bagel, I have to like look for the bagels instead of just knowing where they are. You know what I mean? Same thing with like food. We had lunch meat, turkey, and there was turkey there one day. The next day I went to go and have it for lunch and it wasn't there. And I was like, I thought we had turkey. Did somebody finish it? Did I just misplace it? And I know, how hard is it really just to text my parents and be like, hey guys, did you finish the turkey? Like, where'd it go? So it's not an issue. As I always say with everything, it's just something that needs a solution. But it's just something that I'm not used to. I'm used to being very independent and taking care of myself and like providing for myself. And now, once again, very blessed for this, my parents are very heavily like providing for me, taking care of me as far as housing me and feeding me go. You know what I mean? So it's like, obviously love that, but I'm just not used to it. I'm a very independent person. Which another, like, blurb, I don't know if I should go, I'm trying to say this to remind you as if I'm gonna, like, re-listen to this and be like, oh, okay, thanks for the reminder. Well, I will re-listen to it, but be like, oh, thanks for the reminder. I guess we could just transition into it. I wrote, fixing myself to be ready for someone else. How I'm so independent, not saying that I want to be less independent, and I'm sure you can have a relationship where you do maintain your independence. But I also think that a relationship is a lot of, like, I need to be in my feminine energy, which I've talked about before, is being able to receive things, allowing people to do things for me, give me compliments, do nice things, whatever. If I'm in this, like, independent, aggressive, masculine energy, I'm not going to attract love. At the same time, I'm trying to figure out how prioritized love is for me right now. Yes, I think it would be nice to be in a relationship. Yes, I like cuddling and, like, having somebody to hang out with. At the same time, I'm very much looking to focus on my podcast, on my social media career, on getting money, like, fixing my finances. Like, I need to be in this masculine energy to create a lot for myself. But I also was like, okay, well, if I'm in my masculine energy, let's say in the day I wake up and I grind, and then at night me and him hang out, and then I could just be a little like baby and be like, you know what I mean, not have to worry about anything, not have to do anything, just be like, oh, my man. So I don't know, that's something else. I'm not on Hinge and Tinder because I find this to be such a flex. Not hating on anybody who is, because I have been on it for years, honestly. But I didn't want anybody in my hometown to see me on it. So, like, Tinder, I deleted, so I know, like, my profile is for sure hidden. And then my Hinge, I had to hide it. So I guess I didn't even have to delete it because it's like you can still have it, but hide it, I guess? I don't know. Because I can't, like, Hinge is such an easy way to meet people. You know what I mean? But I'm like, do I really want a man who's looking for a million different girls on Hinge? I don't know. Hinge always, like, teases me in the back of my mind. But I'm like, I go to the gym, I go out to dinner, I go to the library. Like, I put myself in these social situations so I think that when the time is right and I'm ready, then I'll attract a relationship. So that was just a little romantic tea, I guess. Those are pretty much, oh, and then the last, like, life lesson I'm learning is I need to stay busy for two main reasons. Number one, I don't want to be, like, I get depressed or anything like that, but if I'm doing nothing, I get so in my head, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I not doing this? I should be doing this, this, and this. This is why I'm not where I want to be, yada, yada, yada. Basically, I'm so in my head that I'm like, I need to get out of my head and into my body and just start moving. Just do something. The other point with that is, I was thinking of, you guys know Kai Cenat? I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name, but I'm, like, visualizing it, like, on a YouTube. Anyways, he's a streamer, and I don't know how long it took him to blow up, but now he's, like, super duper popular. And I feel like you can tell that he's a hard worker. Like, he is constantly doing something, constantly streaming. That's the same as, if you guys know, Piper Raquel, definitely Raquel. Anyways, she's also a TikToker who has millions of followers, and she is constantly either, like, streaming or on live or posting videos or making content or doing this. And that's why I feel very, like, not to compare myself, not to say, well, yes, to say comparison is the thief of joy, but I'm just saying, if in my head where I see myself, where I expect myself, I shouldn't be having free time to, like, if I'm grinding to get there, I shouldn't be having free time to just lay in my bed and do absolutely nothing. Like, there's always something to be doing. So that's that. Here are just some 3, like, just kidding, only 2 random updates. It's mainly about, like, what I'm watching and listening to. I'm about to finish Dexter, the first show. How there's 3 shows. The first one that came out, I'm on the last season, season 8. Some people are really starting to piss me off, but I'm gonna finish it. I heard that the second show was, like, so much better, so I'm excited for that. I'm also reading Gerald's Game, which is a Stephen King book, which also was a movie that was on Netflix. I don't think it was a Netflix original. Maybe it was. But it's essentially about this lady who's handcuffed to a bed, and then her husband has a heart attack, like, on top of her, and then she's going through, like, psychological warfare because she's handcuffed to a bed. I am listening to the audiobook, which is free on Spotify. If I listen to it on my phone or my iPad, if I go to listen on my computer, it says, like, upgrade to premium, which I have premium, so I'm like, what are you talking about? But it doesn't let me listen on my computer. And then my 3 songs that I've been into, it's My Way by Frank Sinatra. I posted my graduation pictures for college to this song. So whenever I listen to this song, I just feel so, like, and now I'll be driving and I'm like, I just feel so, like, victorious. Like, that feels like my song. Similar to, I keep losing where it is in my notes. Make Your Own Kind of Music by Cass Elliot. That's the, you've gotta make your own kind of music. That's a big Dexter song, so that. Also, when I was going through my breakup, like, months ago, one of my best friends sent me this playlist that was called, like, Get Up and Get Movin', and that song was on that playlist, I'm 99% sure. And that song just makes me so happy because, once again, relating it to My Way by Frank Sinatra, it's a very, like, I'm doing my own thing, very upbeat, I'm gonna make it, like, all positive. And then the last song was Let 'Em Talk by Ty Myers. That's just kind of like, it sounds like these 2 people are in a relationship, and everybody's kind of wondering, being like, oh, wait, are they together? Are they not together? So I really like that song, too. So with that all said, today's episode was just a little life update and what I've been learning, my little lessons. I didn't really talk about career stuff. I'm still, like, pursuing social media. I'm applying to, like, marketing jobs and such. I'm mainly doing promos, like brand ambassadors, where like you go and you set up a table and you give out alcohol samples and they pay you. That's pretty much what I'm doing, because those are like 2-3 hour gigs and they pay usually like around 30 an hour, and I don't know, I like it. It's fun for me. I like talking to people. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. A little selfless plug. My TikTok is She's So Chatty, like so chatty. I have like 12.6k followers on there now. So I'm trying to grow more on there. I need to post like 1 minute long videos to actually be able to make commission off of the videos, but I've been super duper consistent and seeing some results. So I'm hoping I can make an income through there. Alright, guys. I'm hoping I can edit this like a little, because I'm at 28 minutes. I didn't mean to make it that long. But thanks for sitting down with me. Thanks for being patient while I was moving and figuring out how to re-jump into this. I will be more consistent. I need to do days. I want to upload this one tonight. It's only 3:30, so I have all night to edit it. It's Tuesday. Maybe I'll upload it for Wednesday and then do Wednesday and Fridays. I need to make a day that you guys can expect. How many times have I said this before? I know. I'll get to it. Alright, guys, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and thank you for everything, actually. Bye, guys!